A dramatic and deadly new chapter has unfolded in the rapidly escalating conflict between Iran and the United States. Iranian military officials now claim that hundreds of American troops have been killed or wounded in a sweeping wave of retaliatory strikes carried out across the Middle East in just the past 24 hours. According to Lieutenant Colonel Ibrahim Zolfaghari, spokesperson for Iran's Khatam al-Anbiya Central Headquarters, Iranian forces launched coordinated attacks targeting American military assets throughout the region. The Iranian military claims that 220 U.S. soldiers and commanders were killed or injured during these strikes. Among the most dramatic incidents reportedly occurred near the headquarters of the U.S. Navy's powerful United States Fifth Fleet in Bahrain. Iranian officials say 21 American service members were killed and several others injured during the attack. At the same time, another major strike reportedly hit the strategic Dhafra Air Base in the United Arab Emirates. Iranian sources claim that around 200 American personnel were killed or wounded during the assault on the base, which serves as a key hub for U.S. air operations across the Middle East. Iran also said its forces targeted a U.S.-owned oil tanker in the northern part of the Persian Gulf, expanding the battlefield into the region's vital maritime corridors. These attacks come amid a rapidly intensifying war that erupted after the United States and Israel launched a new round of military strikes on Iran on February 28th. Iranian officials described those strikes as unlawful military aggression, saying they targeted Iranian territory and nuclear facilities. According to Iranian authorities, the attacks resulted in hundreds of civilian casualties. Iran also claims the assault led to the death of the country's supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, along with senior military commanders and civilians, including women and children. In response, Iran launched what it describes as a swift and massive retaliation. Missile barrages and drone strikes have been fired toward Israeli territory and U.S. military installations across several regional countries. Iranian officials insist that their military campaign is focused strictly on U.S. and Israeli military targets and strategic assets, stating that Iran holds no hostility toward the countries hosting American bases and respects their sovereignty. But while the battlefield expands across the Middle East, the human cost of the conflict is being felt thousands of miles away in the United States. At the solemn grounds of Dhafra Air Force Base in Delaware, grieving families gathered as the remains of 6 American soldiers killed earlier in the week were returned home. The ceremony, known as a dignified transfer, is one of the most solemn traditions in the U.S. military. It marks the return of fallen service members to American soil. Standing on the tarmac during the somber ceremony was U.S. President Donald Trump alongside First Lady Melania Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance. As the flag-draped transfer cases were carefully carried from a military transport plane, Trump stood at attention and saluted. The president wore a white ball cap with gold USA lettering as he honored the fallen troops. The 6 soldiers had been killed earlier in the conflict during an Iranian drone strike in Kuwait on March 1st. The U.S. military identified the fallen service members as Major Jeffrey O'Brien, Chief Warrant Officer 3 Robert Marzan, Captain Cody Cork, Sergeant First Class Nicole Amore, Sergeant First Class Noah Tietjens, and Sergeant Declan Cody. Officials say Marzan is believed to have died in the strike, but is still awaiting final identification by a medical examiner. The soldiers were all members of the 103rd Sustainment Command, a U.S. Army Reserve unit based in Iowa. They had been deployed to the Middle East as part of the 1st Theater Sustainment Command, which oversees the massive logistics network that supplies American forces across the region. A number of top U.S. officials attended the ceremony to honor the fallen troops. Among them were Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff General Dan Kane, Attorney General Pam Bondi, White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles, and Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard. Governors and senators from the soldiers' home states also stood alongside the families during the emotional ceremony. Later, speaking to reporters aboard Air Force One, President Trump described the moment as deeply painful. He said, "It's a very sad day." He also praised the families of the fallen soldiers, saying the parents were so proud of their loved ones' service and sacrifice. The dignified transfer served as a stark reminder of the human toll of the conflict that continues to expand across the Middle East.
It's a very sad day, and glad we paid our respects. It's a tough situation. Great people, great parents, wives, family, and a beautiful ceremony. I guess you got to see that, at least part.
Did what you just witnessed make you think differently about going ahead with this war, or even putting troops on the ground in the Middle East?
We're winning the war by a lot. We've decimated their whole evil empire. It'll continue, I'm sure, for a little while. But very proud of the people, the parents. The parents were so proud of their boy, as they call him, my boy. In case the young lady. The parents are so proud. Many of them are military parents, as you know. So but it's always a very sad thing. The war itself is going unbelievably. It's as good as it can be.
You're 1 week in at this point. How long, as of now, do you expect
Well, I think
operations
we've
to
accomplished
continue?
more in 1 week than anyone thought possible. We've wiped out their Navy, 44 ships. We've wiped out their Air Force, every plane. We've wiped out most of their missiles. You see, the missiles aren't coming much anymore. We've also hit their manufacturing areas where they make the missiles very hard. Their drone capacity is way down. And we've hurt them where it hurts. Including about every form of leadership you can have, we've wiped out.
You still expect up to 6 weeks total?
I don't know. I never reject that, whatever it takes. But the military is almost non-existent, if you look. We could hit the military itself very hard, but maybe we will, maybe we won't. We haven't made that determination.
What do you think?
Are you worried you're going to end up coming back to Dover for more of these such dignified transfers?
Sure, I hate to do it, but it's a part of war, isn't it? Who are you with?
The Washington Post.
Would you say it's part of war?
The deaths are part of war, yeah.
Yeah, it's part of war. It's a sad part of war. It's the bad part of war.
U.S. President Donald Trump also stated he has no intention of negotiating with Iran's remaining leadership amid ongoing military operations.
Is there still space to do a deal with whatever is left of the Iranian government?
I think there is. I think that's going to be up to the president. That's what I think. But they didn't seem to be very amenable in those first set of negotiations. You heard what I said. They said we have the inalienable right to enrich. They bragged about having 60% enriched fuel, enough for 11 bombs. They told me and Jared, we're not going to give you diplomatically what you couldn't take militarily. So, I think they're going to need a change of attitude.
What sort of thing do you want to see in a deal? I mean, do you think you have maximum negotiating leverage at this point?
I think the president has proved that we have.
Iran today accused the U.S. of
A lot of
hitting.
negotiating leverage, maybe maximum, but we're not looking to settle. They'd like to settle. We're not looking to settle.